Are you staying? Are you staying? With all his with all his glories, with all his glories, are you staying? Stay are you staying? With all his
And now for something completely different.
Get on with it.
Yes, get on with it!
A few moments later.
Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of Sports Church. Sorry, we got a late start. I said last night we're going to do it at 1300 Eastern Standard Time. That did not happen because little feral Ginger woke me up at about 5:30 this morning. I was up with her for a few hours. Then I kicked her to the curb and the boy to the curb. Not to the curb, actually to Pop and Gaga's house, and I fucking got on a heating pad and went nighty-night. So apologies for that. I know it's right in the middle of football, but I'm pretty sure you can watch your phone and look at your TV at the same time. So we're here. We're good. Without further ado, let's get it going. First on, first up. I've served this gentleman at the all-inclusive resort known as 43 in Las Pulgas and guests of the most holistic company in Marine Corps history, ammo company, part of 1st Supply Battalion, 1st Force Air Support Group, 1st Mar Div. Stood up at his wedding. He's been in mine. He is one of my favorite people in the whole world. Please welcome to the Sports Church, Brother Bishop Puto.
Oh, let us proclaim the mysteries of close split decisions in the UFC.
No more of that. No. Oh, man.
Close fights, controversial decisions. That's what happened last night at the fight night last night out of Las Vegas. We had a fight night in Las Vegas, my friend. We can get into that in my segment. Who else is joining us today? We got Pops and T today.
Yeah, man, we got a full house, baby.
Okay,
we got a full house. So next up, he hails from the great state of Wisconsin. He's also a United States Marine Corps veteran. He was with me on the bar last night. We had a hell of a time. If you didn't see the show, go to Facebook, go to YouTube, especially go to Rumble. Go to Rumble. Get yourself a Rumble account. Come on. And look us up, Barracks Party Media, and find us and watch the show. It was actually a very, very good show. We had a lot of fun. And that's usually how you tell it's a good show, when everybody has a good time. Without further ado, and with warning, he has a distinct on-air call when he joins the show. So, tune your volume down or take your earmuffs off if you can. But without further ado, the one and the only pterodactyl.
And the dogs
There
are
we
looking
go.
at me weird.
I bet they are. Well, don't they always do that? Because you're just that
Yeah.
dude, right?
Yeah, that I am.
You got a white pillow.
Yeah, little pookie dog here.
A little Pookie dog. Look, Pook. That's a Pookie dog.
Yeah, our little Pomeranian that my daughter named Pookie.
Not exactly a pit bull, is it, Pook?
No.
No,
That's
he's a little
that's really not. Even
That's
though
really-
his name's Pookie Dog, that's really not a Pookie Dog. But he's cute.
I love it. There you go.
Yeah,
All right,
he's a
man.
good little guy.
Last on, last up. Looks like he's ready. Looks like he's fumbling with some stuff in backstage, but I'm going to throw him up there anyways. We call him Pops because he's my Pops. He's been in the auto racing industry for over 50 years, whether it's working on cars, covering the races, calling the races. He's got it pretty locked down, so I don't know if anybody else could really honestly speak with effect on the subject. So without further ado, welcome to the All-Star competition known as Sports Church, the Pops.
Now, this is going to be an interesting day to say the least, because there is racing on TV, but there's a whole hell of a lot more action outside of the TV because they don't allow TV into the courtrooms where NASCAR is being sued 2 times, NASCAR and Jim France. And I hate covering the business of racing, but
Sure.
this has got a chance to really screw up racing big time. Just remember when NASCAR, when IndyCar
And Cart.
and the breakaway company of CART, anyway, they ended up selling out and sold everything to IndyCar, but that was back in 2004. And they're still not racing 42 cars. They don't have enough cars to race 42 cars at Indianapolis or at Daytona or at Talladega. So when they get into a legal battle, it can really screw things up. So we'll wait and see how it goes. The only thing really on the table right now is a injunction that 2311 and the other guys have asked the judge to grant them an injunction, meaning that NASCAR can't play games with their memberships, and that everything stays the same. Payouts percentages will be the same until this lawsuit is resolved.
All right.
And
Hey,
I fully expect to see nothing coming out of NASCAR for probably the next week, with the exception of a denial of the injunction, which can then be signed by the judge saying that this is no good. We're done. You guys are out of here. And I mean, IndyCar has definitely been, I shouldn't say, they have an obligation to be fair. They have an obligation to be steady, meaning you got a rule, you live by that rule, you don't modify the rules, and particularly without notifying anybody that that's what you're doing.
okay.
Arbitrary, capricious, that's NASCAR.
All right, we'll get into it in more depth in your actual segment. Pook,
What is up, sir? Talk to me.
You.
We had some. By the way, did you catch the name of that racing team? By the way, Pook. Pop, say it. The one
Racing?
suing.
2311.
Pook. Does that
Yeah,
ring a
yeah,
bell?
absolutely. No. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
You
That's
guys
our
have talked
MLS,
about that
man.
before. Yeah.
Can't take our
No, but
MLS.
you've talked about isn't this guy connected to Ammo Company though? The guy that's doing the racing?
No.
How's
No.
that? This is somebody different?
Yeah,
Didn't we have an Amotech racer? Didn't we have an Amotech race car at one time a couple years back?
we did.
Yeah, we did, right? I thought that's what this was. I'm confused.
No,
that's
this is big time racing. This is NASCAR, baby. This is
Oh,
millions
shit.
and millions of dollars
This
in line.
isn't,
Oh,
And their name is 2311, which makes me think, because I'm not that guy, but Pook is that guy.
This is
Pook
Amotech.
and Pops could contact this organization and get them on sports shirts because, hey, you should talk about this suit as much as you can and talk about racing with Pops because you stole our MLS, you motherfuckers. 2311 is Amotech.
Do you know what 2311 is? That is
Yeah.
a race team of Denny Hamlin.
And Michael Jordan, right?
Right. So 23 is Michael Jordan.
Yep.
The 2311 is Denny Hamlin. So that's where 2311 came out of. Even though you were one.
That
Yeah,
goddamn
well,
no good
I
son
think
of
they
a bitch
owe-
and Michael Jordan.
I think they owe us an interview. I'm just saying.
He owes an apology.
Mm-hmm.
That total son of a bitch. He doesn't even tip.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Michael Jordan ain't a tipper, man. I knew people that dealt to him as a dealer, and I knew people that caddied for him.
Yeah.
You guys
He
like
ain't, he ain't a very
circular?
nice guy.
You like this or do you like this? This or this?
Well, I just got to keep moving my.
Don't
You and
matter.
your circles, man. You're hypnotizing me now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting hypnotized.
All right, brother Bishop Pook Dog.
Now, the question is T frozen or is he just? Oh no, he's not frozen.
No.
He just
No, I'm
he
not
was
frozen.
staring intently at his camera.
There was a fly crawling over the top of my camera.
Ah,
I was looking at the fly.
Oh boy. All right, boys. Well, let's kick it off. And as tradition usually dictates, let's go with the brother Bishop Pook Dog.
Minnie, go ahead and
Yes.
pull up the second slide the second and last slide I sent you. That
Oh,
last
Jesus,
slide I
bro.
sent you, it's going to be real easy. That
Which
last slide
one?
the last slide I sent you was Francis Ngannou, the one up above him. You got a bald Korean guy next to a guy that looks like Brad Tavares. Because he is Brad Tavares.
I got you right here, baby.
Okay, yeah. Save that Francis Ngannou for last. We'll talk about that. Yeah, so this is the co-main event of the evening. We had June Young Park, the bald Korean fella on the that'll be my right-hand side, correct? On my right-hand side, he was fighting last night, won a split decision, somewhat controversial. The thing about this guy, his gimmick here, is they call him the Iron Turtle. How about that for a nickname? You like
Iron
that?
Turtle?
The Iron Turtle. I had to talk about this guy no matter what. Win, lose, or draw, no matter what happened. I had to talk about the Iron Turtle. The guy's got a gimmick, and he's got a win behind him. He's got some momentum in the co-main event of the evening last night. So he took on Brad Tavares in a close decision. A lot of people think they got this one wrong. Hard fight to judge, man. I'm not picking on these guys any more than I have to. You know how that goes. So that brings us to the main event of the evening, right? We had Brandon Royval. That's the next slide up, my man.
Oh,
We have
sorry.
Brandon Royval.
I'll get there eventually. No problem. My bad.
Brandon
So-
Royval versus Tatsuro Taira.
That one?
Damn it. I'm not right. Or maybe you're not right because that's Tapora and Holloway.
I don't think anybody on this show is right. Don't worry
No.
about
No. Yes. Yes. We got it. Yes.
There we go.
Score.
Oh,
Score.
shit.
Brandon Royval last night, having slightly less hair, got a nice little haircut before this fight, took on Tayasu Taira. And Taira, here's the thing about Tara. Here's the thing about Tari. He is like supposed to be the next UFC champ at flyweight. Like they brought him in to be Japan's champion. He was supposed to win this fight last night. He was the favorite. Things don't always go the way the UFC plans them, though. They're going to have a big pay-per-view for this guy in Japan. That may or may not happen now. He may or may not be headlining that big pay-per-view. Who knows? Things are up in the air as things go. Now, I really feel like they, using their judging criteria, they got this right. But if you go back to the old Pride criteria, with how busy the Taira was down on the ground, right? And going for submission attempt after submission attempt that really don't score in the modern day MMA scoring system that the UFC uses. You really don't score submission attempts the way they do in Pride. But these were very smooth transitions because he was in a good position, goes to take a submission on like a rear naked choke or something, and he doesn't lose his position. He ends up because a lot of times you go for the submission and what happens, you lose your position, right? Well, this guy was able to transition from going for a submission, not getting it, getting back in good position over and over and over again. The grappling exchanges pretty much were all Tarari. Brandon Royval, which UFC freaking veteran, been doing this for like 8 years plus, right? He had some rounds that he definitely won. I mean, so that's what made it it's like a hard fight to score. A very seesaw matchup. Very seesaw matchup. They say Brandon Royval won the first round. Now, I watched that fight, and the way I felt about it was, okay, I see that. But Tara was landing all the significant strikes, I thought, in that first round. Someone could tell me I'm full of shit on that. I'd have to maybe rewatch the first round. Everyone's got Brandon Royval winning that first round. He was on his feet, quicker to the punch. Absolutely quicker to the punch. A better stand-up fighter for sure. But this was a tale of two fights within the same fight. You had the ground game, which was dominated by the Japanese fighter, and you had the stand-up game that was dominated by the American fighter. The Apex crowd, which isn't very loud because there's not a lot of people, at the end of this fight, they were all chanting USA for Brandon Royval. It was an exciting fight. Definitely an exciting fight. I was kind of on the edge of my seat wondering who was actually going to get the decision here. I believe using their scoring criteria, they probably gave it to the right guy. So that wraps up the fight night from last night. Now go ahead, unless T's got something to chime in about. Go ahead,
I'm just
T.
saying the way you explained it, I'm guessing then if the fight was in Asia on the one kind of criteria, then Tyro would probably have won. Well, from the way you're describing it,
I'm going to say
they judge both spot on a whole there instead of round by round, and also they seem to lead a little bit more credence to the submission attempts.
No, submission attempt score. Overseas submission attempt score. And this guy's Japanese fighter, so it makes sense that maybe he needs to adjust the way he fights a little bit for the UFC. Who knows? I don't know. It was a hell of a fight, man. It went back and forth and back. You know, it was almost like it was scripted. But if it was scripted, we know who the UFC wanted to win, and we know the Japanese fighter would have won to set up that pay-per-view. Speaking of setups, we got Topuria versus Holloway. Go ahead, pull up that slide because you had that slide just a second ago. Max Holloway and Topuria. Just so the folks at home. So Pops, Minnie, and the folks at home know exactly who we're talking about when we're talking about these guys. That's not Pornhub, is it? Okay, that's what we got. We got Francis Ngannou there. We're going to talk about them guys later. That's the very last thing I want to talk about. That's the bald Korean guy. That's the Iron Turtle. Yes. Bingo.
All right.
Excellent,
How
my
the
man.
hell did he come up with the name Iron
Okay.
Turtle?
I don't know. It's Korean. It's great. I love it.
Must
I love
be
it.
some kind of
love
some kind of a defense reference.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was
Going
thinking the
into an
same thing.
iron
Who names themselves after a turtle, right? Because turtles. But I thought, yeah, I don't know. You ever been bit by a snapping turtle? Man, they could take a finger off. So maybe turtle might be a little bit dangerous here.
Yeah, I think it might have more to do with having a strong defense.
Yeah,
Ground game, yeah, for sure.
I agree with you, bro. So Tapuria is going to be fighting Holloway here. And the interesting thing about this is, Gaethje, who last fought Holloway, said it was very hard to get motivated to fight Max Holloway because he's such a nice guy. Well, Tapuria found the motivation. Tapuria got on an interview with Max Holloway and started trash talking him in his fourth language, which is English. Trash talking the former champ. Yeah. These guys.
It's fourth language.
Yes, it's very. I probably should have pulled some of that up, but I was worried about maybe copyright stuff. I was worried about a little copyright stuff. I know how we've been in trouble with that before, but yeah, well, if you want to check it out, very interesting. Yeah, definitely trash talk him in his fourth language. That's going to happen before the end of this month. I believe the 26th. That's going to happen before the end of this month, this fight. So that's interesting. That's coming up. That's coming up real soon. And very next slide, we got Poatan, Alex Pereira. Pull up Alex Pereira because I want to talk a little Alex Pereira.
There we go. Yeah.
What's next? This is the question. This is a question that they're asking. You always ask me what's next in the UFC. Well, this is a question they're asking on all the websites. What's next for Alex Pereira? What's next for him? They're saying that he might jump up in the heavyweight. You got you got Brandon. Go ahead.
Speaking of Alex Pereira, I should have sent this earlier. His sister actually had her debut fight in that Karate Combat League, and she won by knockout in the first round. I saw this weekend. Pereira's got a sister, and apparently she looks like she's going to be pretty good.
No, she's really cute, but imagine being married to her. Oh my God.
Yeah, you don't want to screw up. Have him show up at your house.
Yeah. What do you mean him? Shit. You get your ass kicked twice.
Yeah, twice.
You got my sister? She head kicked me, sir. So what's next for Pereira? A lot of people. So you got Brandon Schaub going. You got Brandon Schaub going online talking to the fight to make is Brandon Schaub. The fight to make is Pereira versus John Jones. I think they actually might be setting this. That would be perfect because that matches up for the UFC perfect. Yeah. Eventually, if you have Pereira fight John Jones, one of the greatest ground and pound freaking fighters the UFC's ever had. One of the greatest. I didn't say the greatest. One of the greatest ground and pound fighters. He's also really great on his feet too, John Jones. One of the greatest ground and pound fighters the UFC's ever seen fights a guy who hasn't fought a decent ground and pound wrestler yet. And the UFC doesn't plan on putting him. Don't get me wrong, he's fought the best. He's fought the best the UFC has to offer. And the only real wrestlers he's fought were ground and pound wrestlers, didn't take him down and smash him. He hasn't fought anyone like a Mark Coleman or freaking, I'm talking, like, he hasn't fought anyone even like a Daniel Cormier, man, like a good, decent NCAA wrestler or a good, decent ground and pound wrestler yet. That'd be the first test for him ever, and it would be perfect for Dana White if John Jones wins. And if John Jones loses, who cares? He's got his star anyway. There's the rub. But here's the thing: if you got Dana White running around talking about how great John Jones is now, like he's got amnesia. Remember, he can't remember what he used to say about him 5 years ago. Yeah. So you got him running around telling him, hey, he's the greatest active fighter. He's the best. He's the best. He's the best. Well, if he freaking kicks Poatan's ass, he will go out the champ. He will go out the champ. Maybe eclipse a little bit of Ngannou's legacy with that. Who knows? But you got some things happening before that. You got the fact that Pereira just fought at 205. It'd be another jump up in weight. He's already jumped up in weight to fight at 205, but he looks pretty freaking big and strong. He's like 6'2", I believe. I think he can easily put on the weight to make heavyweight. He could fight heavyweight, but you got Tom Aspinall there too as well. What happens with Tom Aspinall? So,
Did we lose you, Pook? Is he
I
frozen?
think Pook got dropped off.
Yeah, he's
The
frozen.
Pook did
I
get
think he
dropped.
Or he's
froze up.
frozen. What?
He froze.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. All right.
Well, I guess we move into a different segment then.
I guess we do until the Pook reappears. I don't know. Yeah, I think his internet just took a giant shit on him, and so it is what it is. All right. Well, be prepared to be interrupted, but
I'm used to that when Pook's on anyway.
go ahead.
Anyway, as I was saying before, we fully believe that NASCAR is going to ask for a dismissal of the lawsuit as a whole after they try to dissuade the judge from accepting the agreement that everything stays the same until this issue is resolved.
Right.
The injunction that can go two ways. It's really wild. The rules regarding the injunction are crazy anyway, but it's all legally stuff. And I dealt with that while I was with American Bowling Congress, and I was up there for 15 years, and we never lost the lawsuit, which was amazing. And we did get sued under antitrust rules.
Yeah.
However, we prevailed in each and every one. But it's expensive.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I don't know. Roger Penske could have done it. He's got enough money back there. Hendrick, he could do it because he's got an unbelievable number of dealerships that he can mortgage to raise funds.
Yeah.
But there's probably not too many other teams that could afford to sue NASCAR.
Right.
And if you join the lawsuit, you join the expenses. And this is going to be an expensive lawsuit. It's going to last at least a year, if not 2 years. And these guys get several $100s an hour.
Yeah, lawyers ain't cheap.
And that adds up very, very quick. Now, what is happening in the racing world, which is kind of cool. In IndyCar, they had a practice at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway because this year they're going to be able to use the electric portion of their car, and that's what's going to give them what used to be the push-to-pass system. And it went very, very well yesterday. The thing you have to realize is that when you're using the hybrid, it's not always available. It's going to build up. Right. And so if you build up a maximum, which there's a maximum that you're allowed to build up to, and then you use it all on trying to pass somebody, the guy that you pass is very easily being able to pass you back because you ran out of the electricity in your race car, and he still got some. So that's it's going to be interesting to see how well they do that. It's I don't know. Anyway, they did that yesterday and Thursday. And no wrecks, which was nice to see. Especially the temperatures weren't the world's greatest, but they were over 65, and so they're okay doing that. The other thing is that let's see. Hendricks is supposedly all set for next year. Ed Carpenter Racing has expanded, and they're going to add another full team to Ed Carpenter Racing, so that on ovals they will have 3 cars racing, but on the street and road course they will be down to 2 cars racing, because Ed doesn't race anymore going in the crazy turn left and turn right. He just says, I'm going to turn right in my office and I'll see you guys later. And it's wise, because Ed never did learn road racing. And so while he started picking it up in his 3rd year, he still was not able to do what he likes to do, which is win. He says, why do I want to, punish myself and embarrass myself? And so, yeah, that's what he's doing. Let's see. IndyCar, it's pretty well set.
Maybe, Ed, you could have put in the time. I don't know. Like, there's lots of racers who don't race anymore who are gangsters at road racing. I don't know. Maybe reach out and say, hey, I'll buy you some dinner, throw you some cash. Teach me how to do this shit. Nah, fuck that. I'm just going to fucking do ovals like a. I like Ed Carpenter. I met Ed Carpenter. He's a very nice guy, but I hate it when people are like, well, I'm not good at this, so I'm not doing it. Well, fucking good job, pussy.
Hey, the only reason I like Ed Carpenter is, think about this. He went to Disney World in, I can't remember if it was Russia or Japan. But anyway, he went and he saw one of Disney's princesses and became smitten. And actually asked his dad, see if I can call her. And before they got on the plane to head back to the United States, he'd already had 2 dates with her.
Nice.
And a year later, they got married. Now, think about that. He meets somebody in a formal setting, princesses at Disney World, and he like love at first sight, and ended up getting his dad, gave his dad a little note from him to the princess and saying he really would like to talk with you. Here's his phone number if you'd like to call him. And it went from there. And now I think she's got 3 kids now. And she's still pretty. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Looks like the Justin Verlander, Kate Upton thing. Remember that clip I played you guys where she was sitting in the dugout side of the Houston Astros and he was pitching and crushing it, which I think those days are way behind him. But anyways, he got a baseball toss up to him, wrote his number on it, and tossed it to her. And they have like 5 kids now. Like, gangster, like just gangster. Like, I know you think I'm sexy. You're obviously gorgeous. I'm a fucking stud baseball player. Here's my number. Give me a call, baby girl. And she did. And yeah, so very similar stories.
Yeah, it was well, because Ed is a neat kid. He grew up in racing because, and this will crack you up, they didn't want him to get a car because he'd want to race the car.
Yeah.
But they settled on a mini bike. That's what it was. He raced mini bikes all over the United States and became a national championship on mini bikes.
Nice.
And then he goes to say, I never knew what kind of bike I was going to have because Dad generally sold them and picked up a better bike.
Gotcha.
And so that part of Ed's life was pretty neat. Are you watching football up there?
Yeah, I got the Packer game on. Bo Melton just slipped and caused Love to throw an interception. Love had been carving the Cardinals up, but first interception of the game. He's got
Love threw an
touchdown
interception.
passes already.
God damn it!
Yeah, Melton
Son of a
slipped.
bitch!
It was a good pass. It was a good pass, and Melton just fell on his face, so it went right over his head and right into
Awesome.
the defender
Thanks.
who was behind him.
Thanks, Jordan.
Yeah, that wasn't
Fuck.
that.
What you
That
got,
wasn't on
Love?
Jordan.
John,
That
I
wasn't
thought
on Jordan.
Michelle did.
No, I have Jordan Love. She has Joe Burrow.
Oh,
That
all
wasn't
right.
on Jordan Love. That was on Bo Melton for falling there.
Well,
The field's
yeah.
pretty.
It still
pretty
goes
slick.
against Jordan Love, and it
Yeah,
still
it
goes
does.
against my fucking score. So, all right.
You're more worried about your fantasy score than you are the Packers. What kind of Packer fan are you, Minnie?
I'm fucking a fantasy football goddamn champion. That's what I am.
Packers are winning 24-7 right now.
All right. Well, fucking shit. I
Yeah,
guess I can't complain that bad.
Love's already got over 180 yards of passing and 3 touchdowns, so he's doing all right.
Yeah. All right. I'm all right. I'll shut up now. I did not know those other facts. I apologize.
Well, anyway, yesterday, the playoff races were at the Charlotte Roval, and it's funny because remember I said last week that Scotty Mayer was disqualified because his car was too low.
Yeah.
And they are appealing that, but it's a black and white issue. So I don't think that appeal is going to go very far.
That's racist.
But because he got knocked out of that race, he got knocked down in the standings.
Yeah.
So basically, the only way he was going to get into the finals was to win yesterday.
Gotcha.
So it turned out that it was going to be SVG, which is that racer from Australia, who is very, 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 very good on road courses and street courses, and Mayer, who is good. I think he's got 4 wins on the super speedway road courses. He's won twice now at Charlotte on the Roval, and it came down to him trying to win. They threw a yellow, and he was getting wiped out. He was probably at least a car length behind when the race was yellow flagged, because the car lost his right front tire went down just as he was coming through the exits, and the car completely buried itself in the tire barrier. You could see the advertising on the back of the car. You couldn't see anything other of the car. It was just the basically advertising on the trunk. And NASCAR, in their infinite wisdom,
oh boy,
didn't call for a yellow flag until the driver almost accepted the white flag, and when the white flag is displayed, the next flag determines who the winner is. So in other words, if you were leading by a car length, there's no way you can win the race.
Right.
They actually had to use stop action video to prove that they actually threw the yellow before he got to the start finish line. So they had to have another playoff or overtime series, which is another 2 laps on it. And Mayer was going to be on the outside. No, he got moved to the inside, so he was put on the pole because the outside apparently was faster on restarts. And Mayer went I don't know, probably 2 laps, running side by side with the other car that is racing for the win. And NASCAR waited almost 15 seconds after the guy had the crash before they threw the yellow flag. Fortunately, they used stop action footage of the start finish line, and it shows that the yellow came on when the first place driver was less than 2 inches from the start finish line. And that 2 inches means that it goes into an overtime playoff. And everybody thought that the winner was called because of the yellow flag, but it was yellowed too soon, and therefore they had to do another complete restart. They get the restart, and Mayer he's on the bottom, and he's trying to get by this guy, and he can't. And so he falls back into second place for the first lap around. On the second lap around, he's got a couple chances to pass, but he hasn't been able to do it. And so what's going to happen? Sam Mayer is going to miss out on the playoff because of a violation of the car being too low. Anyway, they got down to the second last passing zone. Go ahead. Where you got to go?
Just got to take care of something. I'll be right back.
All
Keep
right.
going. No worries.
All right.
Where the hell does he think he's going?
I think I know where he's going.
Oh, get back. I don't want to know now.
What is going? Oh, that was a fly on your screen. Okay.
Yeah, that was,
We got him down
Fly
here
on my
big time
screen.
too. But anyway,
yeah, they're all gonna die out pretty soon.
Yeah, I know.
It's been in like
but
the 80s.
they're all moving inside quick.
Yeah, it's been in the 80s, and now the last 2 days it's been in the 50s. So now, yeah, they're finding their ways inside.
Yeah, and I mean they come in swarms. I mean it's not you just get one. No, they come in groups of 20. I think, and you're assigned to this room. You're assigned to that room. I mean they actually platoon it. I think. Anyway, Mayer was able to make a pass on the second last location of the passing zone and was able to take the white flag and the checker, which moves him back into the playoffs, even though he was knocked out because of the rule violation last week. So Mayer is still in it. The guys are racing today at that very same course. And it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of this because let's see who is left. This is interesting. The playoff schedule that they bring up is the playoff schedule for last year. So NASCAR is striking again. They find a way to get it done. Anyway, this is the cutoff for the 4, and it really is silly when a guy that is not in the playoffs but wins a race doesn't get anything. I mean, he gets the prize money, but he can't join the group that are going for the playoffs. So winning has a lot to do with being successful in this thing, but it's not the only thing because there's so many guys. They've actually had 3 guys that are not in the playoffs win races during this playoff season. So it's kind of crazy, and I'm sure that's going to come up in the lawsuit too. Tony Stewart did an interview where he said Yes, I know the things that they're doing wrong. Am I going to mention them? No. I don't want to lose all the money I've got invested in my team.
Yeah.
And if you come out against NASCAR, guess what? They come after you, and they got a bigger hammer than you do.
Yeah, it'd be a
They
lot
sound
funnier
like
if you
the,
just.
the intelligence agencies.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. NASCAR will come and shut your ass down, son. They'll shut you down. They got 6 ways of Sunday to shut you down, son.
Anyway, for one reason or another, the NASCAR race. Oh, they're finally there. So I do have the NASCAR race on TV, so I'll be able to keep you informed of what's going on there. And I think we'll leave it at there and let T talk about hockey.
Hockey and college football, hopefully.
Yeah, I didn't get the college football stuff.
Ah!
Sorry. I'll have
Dude,
to.
that's
next
the best
week.
segment. That's the
Yeah,
best
next
segment
week I'll
this
have to
show's
get
ever had.
Yesterday I was busy with the kids with that homecoming stuff, so I didn't get a chance to sit down, and I didn't even get to watch any of the college games yesterday.
That's even worse.
I didn't get a chance to. I didn't even see yet if the Badgers won or Rutgers. I know they were playing yesterday, but I don't know what the final on that was. I haven't had a chance.
I'm sure they won.
It. I don't know. They Badgers ain't as good this year as we were expecting, but
they've been good. I didn't know that. Yeah. All right.
They haven't really
What you got hockey wise? I mean, it just started. I mean, it
just started.
It ended 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
and now it's back on.
We're in the hockey season again.
Again, yes.
Yep. Most teams are only about 3 games into their 2 or 3 games into their season right now, but we did have a game already have to get rescheduled. Ironically, it was the Lightning versus the Hurricanes being rescheduled because of hurricanes and lightning in real life. So that game could not happen between Tampa and Carolina. Obviously, with all the weather that's been going on out there, it's a shit show.
Did you see that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers field lost its lid?
That was the Tampa Bay Rays, the baseball. Yeah, the baseball field.
The lid came off of their stadium, and all those utility trucks were in there and being set up so that they would go out and be able to clean things up. And then all of a sudden, the roof, and it's not a hard, it's a fabric roof, so
it's a cloth roof.
It was nothing that would crush them. They may smother them, but it's not going to crush them. But anyway, they lost. They lost their lid in this hurricane. They said it was a tornado, so who knows? It spawned like 13 tornadoes in Florida.
I also seen the Florida man down there that ratchet strapped his house to the ground before the tornado. I guess it worked out pretty well.
That's not my dad and a bunch of his friends build a 2-story camp on the Ohio River. And they actually, when it comes time to close it up for the winter, they string cables from the ground up and across the beams of the camp, and then attach it on the other side. And there are 3 of those humongous cables. I mean, real wire rope type cables. And that's what holds them down. The 37 flood took the second story off of the deal. And so after the 37 flood, that's when they ended up rebuilding it and putting cables, just tying it down. So using straps to tie it down is not unusual, but those cables are wild. I think it took 3 guys to carry the one end up to the second floor, and then they would throw it out and then drag the rest of it over to the other side and throw it out there. And then they would crank it down into the ground. So it was pretty nice. But these guys built this camp, and this was probably 100 feet long and probably a good 12 to 24 feet wide. And it was just a camp that they partied at every week down on the Ohio River. It was neat. But losing the second story, they were able to rebuild it by scrapping out sunk barges because there was a lot of barges that sunk due to the 30-some flood too. And so they would get in their canoes, go out down the river, and grab whatever lumber they needed to rebuild their camp. So I can imagine. I can just see my dad. Now, you understand, my dad was probably in his late 40s when I was born. And so.
Weird.
Yeah.
Like me.
Speaking of the devil, late 40s, huh?
Yeah, having kids in your 40s is bullshit.
I think you tickled his fancy.
No, because I remember when my kids were little and I couldn't do that shit now. I don't have the energy. I couldn't have it. It's impossible.
Yeah, I don't have the energy and I still gotta do it. Which is why I'm fucking perpetually injured. My back was actually doing really good this week till my little feral ginger decided not to listen to her mom or me and run away into danger. And I swooped her up by her arm and fired her in the house. And as soon as I did that, I was like, oh, ow, my back. Ow, my back. Now, I'd done this in my 20s. That conversation in my head never happens. But
yeah.
You'd be whipping around, bro. You'd be whipping around. You're going with freaking 3 hours of sleep. Not even getting faced. You'd be bitching about it a little bit, but you'd be fine. You physically wouldn't be freaking flattened.
I don't wake up.
You physically wouldn't be flattened.
Go to bed feeling fine, wake up with an injury. Like, what'd I do? Nothing. You did nothing. You're just getting old, you fuck. Yeah, it's awesome. Good times. Anyways, back to sports.
So what are we doing in hockey?
So far, well, there are a few injury stories to go over, at least. Starting with last year's number 1 pick, Connor Bedard, had to leave the game against the Jets early after taking a pretty bad hit. He did have a dislocated jaw last year and missed a significant portion of the season. This injury, however, was not nearly as bad. He did come back for their game against the Oilers and just had 3 points in that game to get the Blackhawks their first win of the season. So hopefully Bedard can start finding a way to avoid some of these big hits. The guy's super talented, but if he's getting laid out constantly, it's going to be an issue. The Blackhawks got to start coming more with a mentality protecting Bedard like teams would protect Gretzky back in the day, because nobody ever Gretzky didn't take a ton of those big hits because there was going to be hell to pay if they protected their star player back then. So you gotta get some I don't know, Blackhawks need to find some enforcers almost to be protecting.
That being said,
kid.
this is a good conversation because I like this conversation. You brought this up. And I like to have a dialogue sometimes here on Sports Church. It's kind of fun. I got some questions as a guy, outside hockey guy to an inside hockey guy. So fighting, right, through all out youth sports, right, and college now, it's zero tolerance for that shit. Correct?
Correct.
Has it always been like that?
Yeah. College hockey, they wear the cages over the face too, so your face isn't exposed to get in the fight in college games.
Okay, just for the sake of
they've been trying to get fighting out of hockey
Right.
Years.
That's my that's my thing. That's my thing. As a guy on the inside of hockey, loved hockey all his life. Fighting is so much part of the NHL sport.
Yeah,
and honestly, part of the Sandlot sport, because you can't find Sandlot or pond hockey players that have teeth, full racks of teeth. They're just missing teeth all the time.
Right.
But
yeah,
fighting
especially
is
your
so
old
much.
players from like the 80s. Yeah, you got tons of those guys missing teeth.
It's so much part of the sport. Are they ever going to get rid of fighting in the NHL? And
in the NHL,
that being said, because and then here's the other question: being the hockey in the youth hockey and in NHL hockey, not NHL, I'm pardon, NCAA hockey, fighting is so frowned upon. And like what would happen if you actually got into a fight? You ripped off one of the masks, you both decided you're going to ice box, you ripped off your mask, you start ice boxing in the NCAA game. What happens is that's a multiple game suspension.
Yeah, the NCAA AA. Yeah, I'm sure it'd be a multiple game suspension if the NCAA has enough power that they could probably,
in the NHL, right? But in the NHL, see, I'm thinking like
5-minute major,
and not only that, yeah, exactly. No fine, nothing. Obvious, you get a penalty. You go in the penalty box for a while. So, how about international fighting? Is this an international fighting? International. I'm the one with international fighting. So international hockey. Is there fighting in international hockey? Not really, right?
Definitely, and especially in the Russian leagues. I actually just seen a clip today. A guy in the Russian league getting a penalty called on him, and he went and clocked the referee, and then the other guy on the other team started.
So is that? So I don't know my ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to NHL. So this is going to be a stupid question. Do a lot of the enforcers, are they Eastern European guys? Are they Russians? A lot of the enforcers now?
Some of them. I mean, you got like Ty Domi will take that role, or Max Domi, and his dad Ty Domi was an enforcer back in the day. So I mean, you still got some Canadians and Americans that'll take on the enforcer role too. But yes, you do get a lot of the Eastern European guys. But yeah, then you got like Tom Wilson and Ryan Reeves and
I remember back in the 90s, I wasn't much of a fan, but I went to a couple of games. I remember watching some hockey stuff. There was actually fighters back in the 90s. They were going to boxing gyms and boxing to learn better boxing skills. So it's so much part of the game. It's so much part of the game. They were practicing it, So you don't ever see it leaving. The fans want
it.
Right?
not the NHL, but like I think it was last year? Chris would probably know better than me that the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League banned fighting in it, which is one of the CHL. The CHL is like 3 different leagues: the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, and the Western Hockey League.
What's terrifying about that? Imagine having your first fight ever as a full-grown man out on the ice against another pro athlete. You've never fought. You've never been punched in your face ever in your life, and you got to go and you're like 23 years old, and you've been freaking. There's no fighting in any league you ever did. And then next thing you know, you're getting punched in the freaking face. Someone's face.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, hockey players are tough. Don't get me wrong, but like that's a pretty precarious position to put a guy in to get into his very first fight. A lot of these guys, they're good kids. They're good athletes. They don't get into fights. They're not allowed. They don't do that. Ooh. They grow up their whole life. They're a star athlete. Next thing you know, the first time you get into a real fight is against a grown-ass man that's another professional athlete. That sounds terrifying to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Chris just actually put a breaking news story in here. The NCAA has agreed to allow players that have played in the CHL now to come and play in the NCAA. It always used to be when you kind of had a choice once you were getting through high school. To advance your career, you could either go CHL, you could go USHL, or you could go to college. But if you went to the CHL or the USHL, NCAA wouldn't take you after you started playing in these kind of Well, it's technically professional hockey. The kids are paid to play in that, but so maybe it might be a result of the NIL stuff now too. That now that we're paying players in the NCAA, I guess it doesn't matter that you're taking kids that were getting paid before to play in the CHL.
Let me take a tangent here real quick because you brought up the pay scheme for college athletes. Now you're on a team. Now it gets exponentially, I think, a bigger problem the smaller the team is. Like football, you've got like what on a roster, on a college roster? How many guys? 80 guys? Something like that.
I think it's probably
Sounds
even
right.
a little bit more. I think it's more than that because some colleges have such big rosters that you got guys that have to be reissued double numbers on the team.
You got
Right.
You got guys.
All right. But point being,
You got guys on some of these football powerhouses, though. You got guys on practice squads that could just jump right in and start anywhere.
right. But what I'm trying to get it and drive into is you've got the football NAL, you've got and then you shrink it down to like baseball, then you shrink it down to basketball, then you shrink it down to hockey. How is this an issue? Has it been an issue? Will it be an issue with some of these guys who are raking in like big NIL bucks versus guys that feel like they're almost equally talented but just haven't gotten to the role? Does that cause a friction or has caused friction in locker rooms? Because I'm guessing it's had to.
Yeah,
Like a freshman comes in and he gets a $2.5 million NIL deal. And then you got a junior who's about to go into the draft, who's been busting his balls. And he's like, the fucking kid just got $2.5 million. I got fuck all. Like, that hasn't caused a problem, or is it going to cause a problem?
I would think that would be a problem, not just for hockey, but any of the college sports. But and that's part of. You see, like Nick Saban decided, I'm not coaching anymore because he doesn't want to deal with all that NIL stuff. And I think, that's part of what coaches in modern NCAA are going to have to deal with now. Because it is going to cause more. I think it will cause more friction in locker rooms.
I hate the NCAA, but this NIL deal was the worst idea ever. Like, I think what you should have done, what smart people would have did, is like, all right, you're worth this. We will pay you upon graduation or entering the NFL draft, NHL draft, MLB draft. But you don't get fucking shit. It gets put into a trust in escrow until you graduate or leave the school or the system. That would have been a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I think a big thing too that they got to do with this is, you play in professional sports, you got a contract. You can't just jump to the portal anytime you want.
Right.
A lot of these guys, they're they're getting these deals, but nothing's in writing. And then they're not. Look what happened with UNLV this year with their quarterback. They got off to that 3-0 start, and then their quarterback's like, no, they're not really fulfilling their NIL deal with me, so I'm just going to jump into the portal. And he did it like right before he would have lost his red shirt year because he's like, I'm going to red shirt the rest of the year and go to the portal because look, the way he's looking at it is, I can get paid more if I go somewhere else.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's like.
Yeah, there's got to be stuff put in writing with some of this stuff, and they're going to have to develop a system of doing some contracts with this because
absolutely
the portal right now is just the Wild West. it's
it's rubbish, man. Absolutely rubbish.
So this is all in its infancy right now, but I know back in the day it used to be just like the scholarship was what was your payment to come play.
And then the big schools would like buy you a Trans Am and give you a phony job that you didn't have to show up at. And and then that just got looked the other way, right? And then the little schools would always get busted for it. So that's how it was, right? It was better that way, right? And we liked it. We liked it like that.
I think we did like it like that.
Yeah. Well,
wink. None of these guys are getting paid. Wink, wink. Oh, here's an interest-free loan to buy a home for your family. Oh, here's an SUV, bro. Oh, yeah. I mean,
then you had you had stuff that came up with Urban Meyer at Ohio State. You had the stuff that came up with Pete Carroll at USC, and then those guys
The only thing that
go
sunk
to the NFL.
Urban Meyer at Ohio State was him slapping the ass of a fucking hottie 25-year-old. Well, that's what sunk him.
I'm thinking of the guy that was
party radio.
No, I'm
what?
You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of
radio.
Jim. I'm thinking of Jim
slapping
Tressel,
asses.
actually, the coach at Ohio State before Urban Meyer, Jim Tressel. He got caught paying for Terrell Pryor's tattoos and stuff, and
Jesus.
Yeah, that's why because he was real successful at Ohio State, and then he got caught up with some paying off some of their athletes and had to get Ohio State dropped him.
The old sweater vest.
Yeah.
The old sweater vest.
Okay, you lost me on that. What's the story of the old sweater vest?
Jim Tressel.
Yeah, that's what he wore. He wore that for all the games he was.
He was like it was like his Pee Wee Herman suit. It was like I got glasses and I got a sweater. I'm a nice guy. I'd never freaking pay for players' tattoos or get them fake jobs anywhere. I'd never do that.
No,
I never put them on the I never put them on the payroll for a job they had to show up for one time. I'd never do that. I'd never do that.
Yeah,
the old sweater vest.
Old sweater vest. All right,
used car salesman.
But getting back into hockey though, a few more injury things that are out there. This year's number one overall pick, Macklin Celebrini of the San Jose Sharks. He is now on the IR, listed week to week. He got injured right off the bat. I think it was in the opening game of the season for them. The Sharks were legendarily bad last year, so that's not good for them. We got Eriksson Ek for the Wild out now with an injury. Alexander Barkov is going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. And the Columbus Blue Jackets have lost their captain, Boone Jenner, to a shoulder injury that is putting him out for the rest of the season. Worse off, this is an injury that didn't occur in a game. It occurred in a practice on October 4th. The Columbus Blue Jackets have lost their captain now to the season-ending practice injury after losing their star player, Johnny Gaudreau, got hit while riding his bike with his brother and died during the offseason. I did see his old team, the Flames, had a little bit of a tribute. Their goalie for the Flames has a Johnny Gaudreau tribute painted onto his mask now. But yeah, we're only 3 games into the season. We're already seeing the injury bug affect quite a few teams.
Jesus.
But yeah, and then Chris Benoit put in here. Yeah, I was talking earlier in the CHL that Ontario Hockey League, it's a 2-game suspension for if you're in a fight, and the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League is just you're straight up suspended. So your season is done if you get in a fight.
That's not good. I wouldn't make it long in that fucking league.
Man, that's kind of scary, man. That's scary to me, man. It really is, because
these are like 18, 19-year-old kids that this is their chance to get noticed and
you're going to suspend them for a year for getting in a fight in an aggressive fucking sport? Okay.
Man, honestly, this is going to be very unpopular and hockey dads, including Terrell, probably will disagree with me. I think the Pee-wees ought to be fighting, man, because like it's different when you learn how to do something like that when you're a Pee-wee, like you learn the right way of doing stuff when you're a Pee-wee, you know, and you're going to be confident and you're not going to be scared for your life the first time a freaking another 250-pound man that's just as athletic as you punches you in the face and you have no idea what's up. You know what I mean? It's a scary situation to me, man. It is. That's why I think the Pee-wees ought to be fighting, honestly. I mean,
we're a long way. Well, we're moving in the opposite direction.
That cat's out of the bag, I guess. I guess that's long gone. But was that ever a thing?
I don't know, man.
The
You learn a
Pee-wee's
lot getting
Overstrap?
punched in the face. You do. You learn a lot getting punched in the face.
Right,
especially
but the
when
first time you get punched in the face, I don't think you want to be freaking pissing your pants terrified. I think you want to be
No.
comfortable in that situation.
I agree.
I mean, the first time you get punched in the NHL, I'm saying. It should be your
Yeah.
first time ever getting punched, and that's how it's going to be for a lot of these kids, especially good kids, grew up in good homes, have freaking travels hockey teams, freaking was a star athlete. You don't get into fights. You're not allowed, son. His whole life. And then next thing you know, he's in the NHL, and boom, he gets freaking socked, gets cracked and humiliated. First time ever. Freaking knees buckle and shit. Horrifying, man. Horrifying scenario. Is that just in my head?
No,
Or is this like going to happen, man? This has probably already happened.
No,
Yeah, and
I don't know.
Contact in hockey doesn't really get taught a lot until later. I know at least might in sports, checking isn't allowed. I can't remember if it's Pee-wee or Bantams that you're allowed to start checking in.
Let the little psychos play. God damn, just let them
checking
play.
is not being allowed in the league.
Yeah, and then girls hockey, you don't have checking at all.
Oh, why? Because the girls can't take it? Get the fuck out of here.
Even in the Olympics, you're not supposed to have checking for women's
What?
hockey. There's body contact, but there's not a legit checking.
So you're basically not
different
playing
game.
hockey, right?
It's a different game. You're skating.
It's a little different. I mean, there's
lot different.
still body contact and along the boards and stuff, but there's none of these open ice hits and girls.
Man, it's a lot different if there's no checking allowed at all. How, you say there's checking up against the boards allowed sometimes? It's like look the other
there's
way.
body contact. It's not like a legit. It's not like.
So if you smash somebody up against the boards, you're getting a red card or whatever.
Yeah, you're still gonna get a boarding penalty. Yeah, yeah, you'll still get called for boarding. But yeah, the
NHL
girls games they do take
NH
girls to the box for checking.
Okay,
all the games that I used to do the score sheet and the scoreboard for, there were girls getting sent to the box for
to the box.
Hey, I remember the good old days when the Indianapolis Checkers, and I guess that was the IHL that the Checkers were in. But anyway, they went and had a match in Fort Wayne against the Fort Wayne team, and it ended up with 6 of the Indianapolis Checkers in the hospital. And charges being filed against the Fort Wayne players. I never knew how they came out, but the fact that they put players in the hospital because of fighting, that's going a little bit too far.
I don't know. If you're gonna fight. Yeah. That's my biggest beef
Chris
with
does say
baseball these days.
Watching the USA Canada women's game, there's a lot of checking. They do seem to let them get away with a little bit more of that in the U.S. Canada game, but that's because they're kind of light years ahead of every other country as far as women's hockey goes. A lot of the other Olympic games you won't see get as physical as those ones. I think they call the hits a little bit more tightly in that. The U.S. and Canada women can skate quite a bit better.
Oh, fuck. All right.
So many are saying we could use some pitchers like Farnsworth and Nolan Ryan these days.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh shit!
Like, if you're gonna clear benches and you're gonna fight, then fight. Don't slap, don't push, just right cross the motherfucker. And if you're a pitcher and you're right-handed, make sure you use your left hand. If you're a left-hander, make sure you use your right hand. But fight. Actually fight. Don't just nanny pushing, that does nothing. I've never been in a baseball fight where I didn't throw a punch. Like, I don't understand it. Like the very last one I was in, it was the last home run I ever hit. Alpha bonus baby, who the next day went into the Baltimore Orioles pipeline. Dude got like $100,000 at that game, which I thought was funny because I fucking took him yard on his first pitch. And as I'm rounding third, He goes, "Oh, you think you're pretty good, huh?" I'm like, "Well, it just took you yard meat. What the fuck are you gonna do about it?" Stepped on home plate, kicked the fucking catcher, and charged the fucking mound. And I fucking hit that dude, and we wrestled, and both benches cleared, and everybody was hitting each other. It took like fucking 10 minutes to get this thing undone.
Now
should have been
now
suspended from the league for the rest of the year. Didn't happen, but at least we threw punches. If you're gonna fight, fight. I don't agree with it. I don't think it should happen, but if it does, fight. Fight like men. We're men.
Right.
Fight. Punch each other. Kick each other. Bite. Scratch. Do all that shit. Just saying.
Now, my knowledge of what the etiquette is with baseball, you went yard on the guy.
Yep.
He's gone. You ought to just freaking trot around the bases with a little smirk. That's like as much as you should do. You shouldn't be mouthing back off to the pitcher, from what I understand.
I
right?
wasn't.
Right?
I ignored him until I got to the third base. I'm coming down. I look at my boys on the bench and I'm like, I did this from Bull Durham. Like, look, unbelievable. I just hit that, and I said I was going to do it, and he just pushed a button that I couldn't allow. And as soon as I touched home plate and the run was scored, in my opinion, it was on. And so it was on.
You're writing your own rules, my man. You're an outlaw.
Nah, not really. Not really. My coach, who was probably 9,000 years old at the time, he was very proud of me. So I took it as a win.
For punching the pitcher or for going yard?
Both.
Both?
Yeah. Yeah, he was jaw-jacking with this kid as soon as the game started. So, and I'm batting like eighth. So, it was a couple of innings before I got up, and he had shut down just about everybody. I think short of a single. And I kept, asking the guys, what's he throwing? What's he throwing? He's like, oh, he's got a really good curve. I'm like, well, I'm just going to sit on that fucking curveball. And I did. His ass. And, well, he hung it.
You Otani dead ass.
He hung a curveball, and that motherfucker, it was a BP fastball, basically a hanging curveball. It came at me at like maybe 70 miles an hour, just right in the middle of the plate. I was like, bye-bye.
So were you pitching?
Not that game, no. No, I was playing second.
Oh, so you didn't Otani his ass?
No. I only ever fucking closed. My arm only had, maybe 30 pitches in it at most, at best. All right. Who sent me something? Oh, Chris sent me something. Uh-oh. Chris Benoit sent me something that must be important.
Is it Ngannou news? Because I kind of got caught up in technical difficulties there.
I don't know what,
because we never got into the Ngannou news, and we really never finished what I was saying about Poatan and his next fight. But
go ahead, go.
Well, that's all. I mean, it's all good, man. It's okay. We kind of wrapped that up. Like, it'd be real interesting because like, how does Tom Aspinall fight in this? What if he fights Aspinall first and fights the winner of Stipe Jones? That'd be real interesting. He hasn't even said he's going to make this jump to heavyweight, though. This is just what's being speculated online. This is just what everyone's talking about. It's the buzz. And there's other fighters he can fight, obviously, at 205, and I imagine he's probably going to stay there. And according to rumor, Dana White's working very hard, very close, if not already has signed one of his major kickboxing rivals. So that could be an interesting fight. They'll probably fight at like 205 or, welterweight or something wherever they meet, maybe even a catch weight, whatever. Who knows where they fight at, but that's probably going to happen too, obviously. So where does that fit into all that? So what's next for Poatan is very relevant. He's probably the most active fighter we've had in a long time. This is a champion, and 3 fights that I know of this year, 3 fights, I don't know, just off the top of my head. So, saying what's next, he's probably the hardest working man in MMA right now, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
Gotta be. And he's got the gold. So that's really impressive, even though, like I said, he's never really fought a real ground and pound fighter. And he probably might never unless it's John Jones. to like cement John Jones' legacy on the way out of UFC. Boom, beats Poatan. Boom. Steals the thunder away from Francis. And that gets us to our thing with Francis. Francis is fighting. You can pull that up so we could see both men. It was the very last slide I sent you. The very last should be the very first slide you're looking at from me if you're scrolling up. The very last slide that I sent, and that's going to be Francis Ngannou. He's going to be taking on Ferrara. And this guy's interesting. He's a Brazilian. He's like 6'9". He weighs as much as Ngannou. Has a very similar build to Ngannou. This is being billed as the Battle of the Giants. It's going to happen in Riyadh. It's going to happen next week, next Saturday. So I'm going to be looking at that. That should be on during the day. I should be able to catch that during the day. Maybe I might even watch it twice, watch the replay before we talk about it on air. I'm definitely interested in anything Ngannou's doing. So that kind of wraps up my abbreviated and delayed segment of MMA news on the Sports Church. Yeah, you can see him. That's Ferrara right there. He's a freaking beast, man. He's for real. So we'll see what happens.
When's that happening?
Next week, man.
Oh, main card on
yeah,
what?
that's gonna be it's gonna be on a PFL card, and it's actually it's that whole Riyadh thing, that whole Saudi Arabia connection. That's where Francis's money's coming from too.
Yeah,
he did them boxing promotions with Riyadh, and the PFL did like they got paid. They didn't co-produce anything really, but they got paid for sure.
Yeah,
they got paid for it. Francis got paid for it. That's where the money for this fight's coming from. Riyadh, they're putting a lot of money. Riyadh in that Sheikh Al Turkey or Turkey Al Sheikh, however you say it, his name and title.
Fuck out of here.
Well, that's who he is. He's put a lot of money into fighting and promoting boxing. He's put together some huge fights that we probably thought we'd never see. Already with involving heavyweights like the British guys like Tyson Fury and people like that. Ngannou fighting Tyson Fury, Ngannou fighting the other British guy AJ. He put that on along with a bunch of other real boxing fights, not just phony ones. The last couple Tyson fights have been promoted, produced by the whole Riyadh group. So in conjunction with Tyson Fury's group, Tyson has a group himself that can put on a fight. He's got a promotional crew that can put on a fight. There's only so many entities that can put on one of these major heavyweight fights. And Tyson actually has the apparatus. Tyson Fury I'm talking about. But last couple fights been through Riyadh. That's where the money's been. So that wraps it up. We're done with that. So we can move on.
I'm trying to find. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. That's what I need. All right. All right. So get with that. Hopefully T comes back soon. Guess we got to talk a little bit of baseball, boys. And it's a great series. The playoffs have been amazing so far. First time that all division series were tied at 1-1. We had the first time that 3 Japanese players in one game played against each other. That was pretty cool. The Dodgers-Padres series was fucking great. It was epic. I'm very upset, I'm sure as Pook is, that the Padres didn't get Game 5. But, MLB is going to MLB.
Man, I bet the over in that game. You believe that?
Really? Did you?
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah. Well, I mean, look at all the other games how they went.
I know, but that's how they get you, right? Like
no, they got me. They got me both sides. They got me on both sides because I bet San Diego. But these are I'm just playing around. I want to bet on the team that I like. Me and you actually went to the games. Back in the day. So I mean, I'm a bit of a fan. I've been to that stadium probably more than I've been to Wrigley, honestly. Definitely not more than I've been to Comiskey because my dad was a Sox fan. But I've been to that San Diego, especially the new one. I've been to that new one. I've been to that new one more times than I've been to Wrigley. As much as I love the Cubs, So I'm definitely somewhat of a fan of the San Diego Padres.
Oh yeah, me too. Like they're my number 2 NL team for sure because I spent so many times going to games, had the jersey, loved the 98 season. Oh god, it was great. Actually dated a girl whose dad was a lawyer whose firm had a box at Qualcomm Stadium, what it was called back then, and I got to watch game 4, the loss. The Yankees swept the Padres, but I got to watch a World Series game from a VIP box, which was fucking amazing. So I always have love in my heart for San Diego, especially because fucking LA is just filled with degenerate fake cunts. So I was really, really pulling for the Pods, and it just didn't happen, man. It just
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've had my run-ins with Dodger fans. I've been in brawls with them, literally, where I've gotten my face marked up. So if it wasn't for a good friend of mine who happened to also be a bodybuilder and a kickboxer, I might have ended up being Brian Stowe. You know what I'm saying? With these guys,
Yeah.
these LA fans can be dangerous. That being said, the Dodgers quality organization, man, you really got to give it to them over the years, man. They are top notch, man. They're top notch.
Yeah.
I feel the way you feel about the Yankees deep in your heart is the way I feel about the Dodgers.
Get the fuck out of here.
I
knew
but
it was
I'm more
gonna
open
happen.
with it. I'm open with it. As much as there's a rivalry, as much as, I don't care for the Dodger fans, man. What a quality organization. If you're a Dodger fan, you can wear your head up high, man, for sure. I mean, year after year, they put out a product.
Yeah, I suppose you spend $1 billion, you can probably get a pretty good product.
There's a lot of people with the money that ain't spending it,
except for fucking pitching.
And there's a lot of organizations that spend the money and get nowhere sometimes. We've seen that a lot.
True. That's baseball, baby, for sure. But yeah.
So what a quality organization, correct?
It was, yeah. It was
top notch.
It was it might be, I don't know. I hope not, but it might be the highlight of the playoffs was Dodgers and Padres. I mean, that was as hotly contested as it gets. There was jaw jacking. There was Manny Machado gate throwing a ball into the dugout, and fucking Dave Roberts being the bitch that he is. I love you for stealing that bag and charging in and helping the Red Sox win that World Series that year. But other than that, you lost, like, if you had 10 points of stock, Dave Roberts, with me, you lost 8 of them by complaining about Manny Machado throwing a ball into the dugout. What a bitch. Like, seriously, that was your whatever. Moving on, the Dodgers move on to the NLCS to play they're gonna find it in time. God dang it. Where is it? Fuck. There we go.
Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those.
Okay. So yeah, the Dodgers played the Mets tonight. I'm rooting for the Mets, baby. I'm all Mets all day. What a run that New York has had out there in Queens. Since pulling up the Grimace, they have been on a fucking tear, and I'm all about it. To go backwards a little bit, of course, to cover the division series. Of course, the Mets beat the Phillies, so they advance. They're in the NLCS. Dodgers advanced by beating the Padres. They advanced. So the NLCS is the Mets versus the Dodgers. I'm trying to find the fucking game. First game is tonight. New York Mets at Los Angeles Dodgers at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Senga versus Jack Flaherty. And I had something somewhere. Oh, yeah. So this is Kotasanga, who's been hurt quite a bit of the year, but this he's got this pitch. They call it the ghost fork. It's split finger fastball basically, but it's nasty. So just watch it for a second.
As Senga deals and a swing and a miss. There's the fork ball. And he picks up his second K with that pitch. He's got 3 Ks.
Look at this.
As Senga deals and a swing and a miss.
Now look at his fingers when he releases the ball.
And he picks up his second K with that pitch. He's got 3.
That's nasty. So what does his forkball different is he's got it above the seam on one place and he's got it below on the other. And when he throws it, he pronates his hand like this. So that split dives. Instead of just going straight down, it dives in and it completely messes up the hitter. He's starting tonight for the Mets. Go fucking Mets. Fucking go Mets. Fuck the Dodgers. Oh,
I bet the Dodgers. I bet my money on the Dodgers today.
Did you?
Yeah, I bet the Dodgers.
That's not
minus $1.50 or $1.60, whatever it was. I didn't care. I paid the juice, man. I bet the Dodgers, man.
The Pollard statement else that are exploring selling Minnesota Twins. Good. Somebody else needs to own that team because they run it like a fucking joke. Last night, Cleveland faced off in Game 5. I think we had 3 Game 5s in this division series, which is awesome. More baseball. Yay! I'm always happy about that. But the Guardians faced off against Detroit. They won that game handily, by the way. And they advanced to the ALCS. So now the ALCS is the Cleveland Bridges, a.k.a. Guardians, because that's the fucking name. They named their team after a fucking bridge. Way to go. Against the New York Yankees from the Bronx. So setting up. What do I think about that? I don't know. Look, here's the thing. I think the Mets are actually going to advance. I really do. I believe in this. I think their pitching's better. LA's pitching outside of Yamamoto is shit. It's shit. They have nobody. They don't have Tyler Glass now. Clayton Kershaw isn't going to pitch in the postseason for fucking whatever reason. And I think the Mets are going to take it in 6. The Cleveland Guardians was New York Yankees. Yankees couldn't get a fucking better fucking like super easy fucking run to the fucking playoffs. MLB is going to lose their minds because it's either going to be New York versus New York or New York versus LA. So MLB, if they were scripting this, and I'm not saying they are because that's very hard and a lot of people involved in that conspiracy. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying MLB wins. No matter what happens in these ALCS, NLCS, they win. Am I rooting for Cleveland Guardians? Absolutely, because fuck the Yankees. But you probably got 2 wins for the Yankees because you got Garrett Cole. So that's 2. You can scrape together another one and then fight on Game 6 or Game 7. You're going to get through. But I am going to tell you right now, my prediction. The National League wins the World Series this year. No ifs, and or buts about it. It is going to happen. The American League is rubbish. The teams that are left are kind of, I mean, I think New York had, the Yankees had the best record in baseball, but that doesn't fucking matter anymore. Nobody really fucking cares. So, because it's October, baby. But I'm picking whoever comes out of the NLCS to win. Just saying. Other than that, you guys got any questions for me about baseball? Anything going on? Anything you want to know? Any insights you want to learn?
When you got an injured player and
Yes.
he's taken back, is his salary guaranteed during that, or is
All baseball contracts are guaranteed.
all right?
No. All baseball contracts are guaranteed. Baba Bonilla is still getting paid by the Mets, and he retired like 15 years ago.
He's got it coming. Pay the man his money.
I guess. All right. Checking on T. He dropped off. Dog got excited when Irene got home, ran right through the popcorn and loop. She wants to go to Holy Hill after she changed clothes, so I guess I have to get ready. See you guys next week. All right, T. See you next week, Bubba. Other than that, any other questions about baseball? I mean, I kind of tried to cover it, but any questions you guys throw at me? Pook, you gotta have something to troll me with, right?
Matt, I don't really have nothing to troll you with. I imagine at this point of the season, though, if I was going to troll you, if that's what you want me to do, your knowledge of the Cubs is way less than your knowledge of what the Yankees are doing and what the Yankees have done and what the Yankees are going to do.
The Cubs are playing golf right now, Pook. The Cubs are playing golf right now.
Well,
so.
I mean, I'm sure there's some hot stove talk already brewing with the Cubs, but you could probably care less. You probably are
no.
Yankees
We'll
action.
get to it. We'll get to that. We'll get to that when when the season is over. I'll get knee deep in off-season Cubs talk for sure. But right now it's it's October baseball, baby, and we got.
Many you asked me to troll you. All right, you asked me to troll you. You asked for it. What the hell? I'm trying my best.
We want to talk some NFL, some fantasy football. We want to do that. We got time for that, Pook. I mean, I remember last week I cut you off. I figured you were biting at the or chomping at the bit to do a little NFL talk. You want to do a little NFL talk, some fantasy football talk? You up for that or what?
I mean, and right now, anyone watching live is probably not watching live. They're probably watching the games right now, as we probably are in our split screens and our phones and whatnot and what have you. I'm a big fan of gambling on NFL. As you know, I talk about the Wong teaser system. I'm playing that today. So there's only a couple of games that I really looked at that way wise. And I took the Colts. I teased them up to 8.5. And I took the Philadelphia Eagles and I teased them down to 2.5. I'm trying to take what the pros are saying is a 3-possession game down to under 1 possession. So we'll see what happens with these plays that I made. As far as fantasy football goes, man, you gotta be lucky, man. You do. You gotta be lucky. There's been some crazy injuries. What if you drafted Nico Collins, man? You're freaking in bad shape with that one, especially like in a 12-man league. You got to be lucky in this shit. That's for sure. I didn't draft any of those players. I'm alive still in every league I'm in so far. I'm not dead yet. But as far as that goes, man, fantasy football, you have to be lucky, man. When we talk about the guy you got people studying for this shit, right? And you got a guy freaking auto drafts a perfect lineup. You gotta be lucky, man. Sometimes you gotta be lucky, man.
It's
auto draft don't always pick the perfect lineup. It gives you a shit one before. I've had bad ones with auto draft. I mean, it'll just take the best player available ADP, right? So could fit. That could fit. You could be right in that sweet spot where you're freaking just grabbing stud after stud after stud after stud, your best player available, or you could be freaking in a bad position where it's drafting a wide receiver for you because you need a wide receiver and boom. Or whatever. I mean, it's a computer program, so it don't think like a person. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. There's been surprises so far in NFL. I mean, Derrick Henry has started to go off. Didn't see that coming. Had an opportunity to draft him. I'm sitting on Nick Chubb. Thanks to my brother-in-law, Jacob, much love. He's like, oh, yeah, you can grab Nick Chubb. It won't cost you a roster spot. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So I grabbed him because the one thing, the fucking huge weak link in my fucking fantasy team is my running backs. I've got wide receivers out my ass. By the way, if anyone wants to trade, I'm open for that because I got wide receivers just coming out of my ass everywhere. I mean, I've got legit 1, 2, 3 wide receivers. 2 of them I could easily part with, plus a running back to trade for an actual running back. But I can't do it yet because I got Nick Chubb waiting to come out and see how that works. Everybody remembers last year he had that gruesome knee injury. And we'll see how he comes back, but he comes back hard. This might be my savior. And this is something you got to do every fantasy football season. You got to find your savior. Somebody nobody saw coming. You pick that dude up and you roll. That's why I won my first championship in the league. I picked up Justin Jefferson as a rookie. And he tore the league up and I fucking crushed everybody, won the championship. But I don't know, man. It's been fun. Oh, by the way, Pook, you need to. I don't know how you do it, but we're fooling around with trying out doing a little test of the league. So the G2 league, he has set this up. So what we're gonna do is, and I think make it easy on everybody and to try the concept out. We're gonna set a draft date. If you can make it, great. If you can't, do auto draft. The G2 league works like this. Worst team of the week, lowest scoring team gets knocked out. Their players get put into the waiver wire free agent pool. The league gives you credits, everybody equally, I think. Maybe not, but maybe it might be based on your record. But and then you bid on the players that just got put back into the portal, that got put back into the thing, and then you keep going. And every week, the lowest scoring team gets cut, and the players go back in. So I think it's fun. I think I'm gonna try and get T to help me out, get it set. And we'll play it. It'll only be like 11 weeks left of the season or whatever. But I think it'd be fun. And I think we could do it next year. We'll do the test this year, and we'll do it for money next year. Like everybody puts in $25, and we get 10 people. That's $20. Winner takes all. I think it'd be pretty fun, man. I think it'd be good. What do you think?
All right, I'll play.
All right. I figured you would. I figured you would. Other than that, man, just tune in tonight, 8:00. Dodgers and Mets, baby. Go. Where is he? Where's my dude? There's my dude. Go Grimace. Go Mets, baby. Woo! Fuck the Yankees. God, Mets. One of the funniest things about this is that last year trade deadline, the Mets moved Max Scherzer, and the reports were he went in the office and was like, "Are you guys going for it?" And they're like, "No, probably not to like 2025, 26." He's all right. Well, fucking trade me, and they did. Hilarious. The Mets are in the fucking NLCS, so I don't know. Behind an amazing Francisco Lindor, who's got to be considered for the MVP, probably going to finish second behind Shohei Ohtani because fucking Shohei Ohtani. I mean, the dude created a club, the 50-50 club. Nobody's ever done that. But Francisco Lindor has an amazing season. Not the greatest postseason, but he did hit that grand slam, and the Mets are advancing. Pete Alonso, aka Pedro Alonso, on his walk year, has had an amazing postseason. Hopefully, maybe I don't know, becomes a Cub next year. That'd be awesome. But we'll see. Good slate of games today. Gonna get you back to watching some NFL. Don't forget about the Mets and Dodgers tonight. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about time for final thoughts. So, Pook, since T is out, you're first up. What you got, baby boy?
So beans, bullets, band-aids. You want to get silver. You want to have like 2 months of supply of food and everything. You never know when your own government might attack you here. This is wild, wild stuff we're headed into. These weather wars that they waged on these people, these Hawaii, Maui fires, incredible stuff. So just paint your car blue if you can. Get some blue umbrellas. Maybe paint your roof blue. I'm just saying.
Oh God.
All right.
I love you, Bubba.
All right,
Pops, what you got?
For one reason or another, I'm not getting all excited about this World Series. I don't know what it is.
Well, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
We still got the ALCS and NLCS, so I'm excited, man. It's more baseball, man. I mean, come on, like you think about it, it's Mets and Dodgers. That's pretty cool. Cleveland and New York. There's something to that. There's a little bit of Mighty Mouse underdog thing with the Cleveland and New York. I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if the Guardians beat the Yankees, because the Yankees pitching staff is fucking atrocious. Like
there you go with your Yankees. There you go with your Yankees.
Yeah. Other than Garrett Cole, who's 50-50, there's nothing there. And we've got a much sturdier starting rotation. However, not exactly the most prolific offense, especially away. But even Pook, drunk off his ass, batting left-handed, could hit a home run out of Yankee Stadium. I mean, they don't even look at Yankee Stadium. Look at the right field wall. Do you see a fucking a yard or a foot marker? You see one right at the end, and then you don't see another one until it goes all the way into center field. Do you know why? Because it's 314. 314 at Yankee Stadium in right field. They hit a home run. 314. That's stupid.
Is that like a softball stadium?
Not even softball. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, for instance.
But that's like the softball offense, right? Like you're like
a little bit, I guess, maybe. But yeah, but it's ridiculous. So we'll see. I actually don't know when the game with Cleveland and New York is. I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow night on TBS, 7:38 Eastern Standard Time. Cobb versus Rondon. Tonight it's Senga versus Flaherty, Mets and Dodgers. The Mets have already decided their Game 2 starter, which would be 4:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do you realize people work, or are you that stupid? Hold on. I'll show you. Yeah, he's that fucking stupid. Look at that fucking gap in his teeth. Apparently somebody made that gap in his teeth, drove into his brain, and evacuated anything remotely dealt with common sense. But it is. That's the honorable Rob Manfred. Fuck that guy and his family.
Sounds like he was part of a horror movie from what you explained.
He is a fucking horror movie. Look at him. He's a piece of shit. The goddamn anti-union lawyer. Fuck him and fuck his family and fuck his kids.
Damn, dude.
Stand that dude. Oh, such a moron. Anyway,
people's kids, for crying out loud, sir.
You know, you gotta hitch your horse to a wagon. If you hitch it the wrong one, that's your ass. And yeah, Game 1 of Yankees Guardians is Cobb versus Rondon. The next game, Cleveland versus New York on Tuesday, is going to be whoever Cleveland can fucking pull off the bench or out of the gutter versus Garrett Cole. So if I was Cleveland, I'd definitely try and win Game 1, because you're going with Garrett Cole, and Garrett Cole's Garrett Cole. You're not winning that game. That's all there is to it. Chris says 315. I play a bigger field and the balls again. Yeah, I know, man. Like, absolutely. Vacation. I'll be home in time tomorrow. Good for you, man. All right. My fault thoughts. Quick. Enjoy the playoffs. Root for who you want to root. Get knee deep in it. Have fun. We only have so much baseball left. You might as well just get knee deep in it and enjoy it. Remember, never take a permanent solution to a temporary problem. There's plenty of resources out there. I personally, again, have gone through a bunch of shit over the last month with my back. And that is just rubbish. It is the worst pain ever because you can't do fuck all with it because you can't sit. You can't. Yes, Pops. I couldn't sit for 10 minutes, couldn't walk for 10 minutes, couldn't lay down for 10 minutes, just kept bouncing back and forth. And it sucks, man. But I have a wife. I have 2 beautiful children. I have Pops as a resource. So, I made it. I'm going to get there, and this back thing is going to be solved. Other than that, have a good Sunday. Enjoy your football. Thank you to Poop. Thank you to Pops. thank you to Pterodactyl. And enjoy your Sunday for sure. Please enjoy your Sunday with the football and the fantasy. Don't throw anything. If you do, don't do it in front of your kids. I've learned that lesson. Because if you do, they just mimic you, and all of a sudden they start chucking stuff, and that's a bad thing. So without further ado, have a good day. God bless. Love you.
I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.